Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the next installment of Arc 2 of The Chaos Protocol, right here, right now on Transplanar RPG. We are an all transgender, people of color-led, dark fantasy, TTRPG actual play channel telling stories set in an original non-colonial, anti-orientalist multiverse. Which means, as always, we would like to start off this stream by reminding everyone that we stand against genocide and ethnic cleansing and support all the oppressed peoples of the world struggling against injustice, colonization, and imperialism. Our voices are not just for our stories. You can use !liberation in the Twitch chat to learn more about our general stance, or use !action to take a simple solidarity action right here, right now. Free DRC, free Sudan, and free Palestine. And now, let's get chaotic. We are back again, co-streaming on Twitch and YouTube at Transplanar RPG, and right here on TikTok on my very own personal platform at @ByConnieChong. If you're watching this right now, you are seeing the live recordings of Arc 2 episodes 27 and 28, because the rest of this is available on our podcast, wherever you pod your casts. We have 2 more streams left after this one until our finale. So the countdown is very much beginning right now. And now please allow me to introduce my fantabulous cast for you all for the evening, starting with Val.
Hello everybody, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. You can find me all on the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing your favorite little beast boy, Sayir, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm gonna pass it over to the dad of the hour.
Oh god. Hi everybody, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns. You can find me as Estelle of Imladris all over the internet, and tonight I am playing the slightly more fractured Mr. Zanin Esh, who uses he, him pronouns. And I'm gonna bounce on over to Lumira. Hey, I'm Star.
Hello everyone. I'm Sam Star. You can find me all across the internet at Lust for Life X. And tonight I am playing everyone's favorite time mage, healer, boss bitch, Lumira, who uses she, her pronouns. What's going on, boss?
It's a me, boss. So to start off announcements, a massive thank you to our sponsors for Arc 2, Explain Trade, Chepeku, Hero Forge, and Undying Corruption. Huge thank you to these folks. Please check them out. Clicking on their links in the Twitch chat helps us. You don't even have to buy anything. Just click on those links. That really helps us. So Chepeku is an incredible company that creates unique, imaginative, outlandish TTRPG maps you won't find anywhere else, only exclusively on their Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Undying Corruption is a TTRPG adventure book about Tongguk, a original mythical kingdom based on Korean mythology and published by Nine Heavens Press, which is a publishing team of primarily Korean and Asian diasporic creators making incredible art, really fantastic work. And finally, a huge thank you to Demetrio Pines and Explain Trade for believing in our mission now and always. So use !sponsors in the Twitch chat to get a full list of our supporters for the stream anytime.
We'd also like to take a moment to thank our Patreon precepts. These are folks pledged to the highest tier on our Patreon. Thank you so much to Astrid, The Bow System, Cassidy, Charles, Clay, Cora Eckert, Derek Davidson, Firestar, Jordan, Lyle and Peanut, Mark J, Phil, Rose, Spencer, and Taylor for supporting the second arc of Chaos. Use Patreon in chat to learn more about our rewards and get access to some truly devious behind-the-scenes content.
If you're enjoying the Chaos Protocol, please consider donating and leaving us a tip. All tips go towards us as performers and will also be used to support our incredible mod team. Every time you donate $15 or more, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a very special dice set from Dispelled Dice. Use !donate in chat and toss a coin to the Twilight Guard.
Last time on the Chaos Protocol, Emperor Longdu is assassinated by magically compelled Cao Cheng. In the chaos that follows, Sayir and Lumira rush to her side and discover that although the Emperor has been killed, she is not yet dead. Meanwhile, Zidane throws his vengeance at the Forge Master, but only a god can kill another god. In a moment of desperation, Zidane receives a holy arrow and takes his shot. Back in the hall, Sayir braces against Cao Cheng's agony, and Lumira falls into the river to help guide Longdu back to her body. As the Emperor returns to life, her sister also returns to the City of Heaven. with her army of demons. And that's just missed last time. Use !recap in chat to read our full written recap document.
Thank you for that, Sam. And now, on to content warnings for this episode. The Chaos Protocol is a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for this particular session may include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, blood, monsters and monstrosity, divine cannibalism, grief, manipulation, loss of bodily agency, depictions of heights, romance, and mentions of death of loved ones and family. So if you're in the Twitch chat, you can use !CW at any time to get a look at those content warnings. And now, moving on to the title of tonight's episode, it is Cruelty Spits, Its Spirit Shown. From Carved Inside an Empty Urn by Connie Chong. Let's begin. Once upon a time, there were two sisters. They were born in famine to one of the 5 great earthly kingdoms of Yaolan. Although they did everything together, they were as different as sun and moon. The stronger sister was always destined for greatness, fated to carve her hunger into the flesh of the cradle itself and alter the course of the river forever. The weaker sister tried to keep up, but her mortal heart could not claim the fate of her sibling. And yet, the stronger sister loved her, even as the fires of the devouring raged around them, even as the death of death itself closed in. The stronger sister protected Tada weaker sibling, shielding them from harm, blessing them with the gift of a proximity to greatness. And great she was. The stronger sister ascended to godhood with dizzying alacrity, mind-numbing calamity. Tada apotheosis rippled across the river for all to gaze upon and tremble beneath, and Ta slew every god that stood in Tada way. They slew the gods that fled from their sword. She slew the gods that begged for mercy. Ta slew, and Ta slew, and Ta slew because Ta could, because Ta was great, and because no one could stop Ta. Until their sister, their helpless, pitiful, soft-hearted sister who had always been weaker, who had never been destined for anything at all, sank a sacred blade between their ribs and sent them hurtling toward oblivion. And the worst part was that her sister, her helpless, pitiful, soft-hearted, weak sister, wept as she did it. Ta wept about cruelty and choice and how it had to be done, how Ta had no other option, but all Tsigu could hear was the pounding of her own impaled heart, the roaring of her own dying blood as she sank into the river and plummeted toward oblivion, and it sounded like rage, 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 all the way down. And though Tsigu had been killed, they did not die. Her hatred and her ambition and her rage kept her alive, a ghost of a god of a ghost, anchored to life by that shard of her sister's sacred sword still lodged in her chest, the sword that her sister released when she slew her, the sword that Queen Tsigu, the first fallen, beginning of the end, Lord of Death, sovereign on low of the underworld, now wields in her left hand. A broken blade with its upper half missing, the stronger half, the greater half. Bathed in mist, Queen Tsigu steps into the Hall of Peerless Destiny. An army of demons stands behind the Queen of the Underworld, armed to the teeth. The broken sword in Queen Tsigu's left hand gleams with severed magic, with profane hatred. She wears robes of pure black, limned by embroidery, the same violent silver as her eyes. And gleaming upon Tada's forehead is a black huadian in the shape of a lotus. Their face is soft and rugged, peaceable and thunderous, masculine and feminine, loving and hateful. She looks exactly like her sister, and nothing like her at all. Tigu raises her head and addresses Tada's sibling, risen from the sandalwood throne, bright crimson blood spattered across the front of their robes. And the voice that comes out of the throat of the underworld queen is flat and venomous, the exact same timbre of a serpent hiding its fangs. Longxie Feng. The river runs as the river rolls. I have long awaited this moment for 4,000 lifetimes, and I will wait not one more. Zainan. The axe comes down. You see your own reflection in the side of this immaculately crafted blade. You see your face, your hair, your grief marks, the coat of your robes, the cherry blossoms. You know, they say that in the moments before you die, your entire life flashes before your eyes. And it does. It truly, really does. Zainan, tell me, what memory blooms across your mind's eye in this precious heartbeat before your fated death?
Sunset. Sunset on Kaseki, his whole family there. Birds pecking, the grass rolling, and there's no oblivion there. Just happiness.
Zainan Esh, your whole family is here, too. For right before you die, the ghosts you've summoned surge. Azalis, Piera, Dom, Ija, Sorna, even Doxa, even Sing. They lift their spectral arms and hold the edge of that blade inches away from your face, from that precious, fragile place where soul meets body. And at this, the Forge Master frowns. She presses down with divine strength. The ghosts around you howl, but they hold. They form an unbreakable barrier, an aura of protection as strong as the depths of your grief, the depths of your love, mixing together to form a shield, powerful enough to rebuke even the hatred of a god. And in this moment, Zainan Esh, you are saved. And in this moment, your final words change. Xuetiang tilts her head to the side, regards the ghosts around you with a dispassionate look. But a current underneath that blank stare betrays her fury. Fine. Hammer it is. And then you feel weightless. You see the void between stars. You see the hallways of Trans. You see your parents' faces, but not ghostly, real, as wide as the horizon, as they hold you as a baby. You see Sing. You see Doxa. You see Azalis. And when you hit the ground, you are back in the White Forge. And I want you to tell me which side of your face Xuetiang has cracked open with the hammer of creation.
Zainan's right temple is glowing with the impact. And then it's bleeding.
Absolutely. The right side of your face doesn't even feel like it's in pain. It's transcended pain. This wound has bludgeoned through the flesh of your face. It's cracked through skin and muscle and bone all the way down to the soul. And you can feel the heat of this divine forge, the heat of the White Forge flaring in your right eye. You can feel your blood vessels bursting in the socket. You can feel your cheekbone cratering inward from that impact. And the ghosts around you, as you slump to the ground, they are gone. They vanished when the hammer crashed into your head, and patience, too, slips out of your grasp, this crescent blade skittering across the floor of the White Forge and vanishing into the darkness. And Zainan, I need you to take Broken 6. In the Hall of
Uh-huh.
Peerless Destiny, Xiao Cheng stumbles. As the Emperor inhales, gasping back to life, the courtier's impossibly massive orange eyes widen to the size of a sunset. The monstrous, multicolored light pouring out of them like a sunbeam through a prism stutters, and the treasonous blade in their left hand seizes in Longdu's direction, away from where it was locked against your forearm, Seir. But Xiao Cheng screams and grabs their wrist and forces that arm down. And the courtier is oscillating between god and beast, between person and monster. And so are you, Seir. Your own blood drips down your chin from where you bit into your arm, and in this heartbeat before everything goes to hell, patience flies back into your hand and you catch it instinctively.
That's not supposed to happen. Patience isn't supposed to be here. And Sayer stares at the curved blade in his hand. What do I see, Connie?
You see a monster reflected in the steel back at you. No, a familiar beast. You see a black, furred, antlered entity sprawling outward with its horns into infinity, and you realize it's behind you? No, it is you. No, it's in front of you. Is it all of these things at once? And you blink again, and the blood trickles down your chin, and you see your own fearful blue eyes.
Why are you here? Patience, patience. Why are you here? Where is Zayden? You were not to leave his side. Where is he?
And patience vibrates. And you feel its emotion coursing through the hand that caught it. Insistence, desperation, an edge of fear from a divine blade.
No.
Lumira, the world here is darker than the one you just came from. Oblivion was so dazzlingly bright. She was so dark. She could burn. Your hands are at the front of Longdu's robes. You blink back into yourself, and now your fingers, you see, are stained red with blood. The blood of a god. The blood of a god killer. The blood of one chosen by fate. You've seen this blood before. And in this moment, before everything goes to hell, Longdu looks down at you and smiles. Thank you. I'll take it from here.
I can do that?
You, Lumira, are possessed of so much more potential than I think even you've given yourself credit for.
I can do that.
You can. And now there is something that I can and must do, if you'll excuse me.
Lumira is so flabbergasted at the real, just her mind is reeling a million miles a minute. And I think the only thing that she just keeps muttering is, I can do that. I can do that.
And the Emperor gently and firmly takes their fingers around your wrist and removes your bloodstained hands from the cavern inside her chest. And she stands, she rises, she turns, and she faces her twin. And Longdu raises her head and she speaks. Hello, sister. The river runs as the river rolls. It doesn't have to be this way. It never has. Oh, sister. Precious little amethyst dragon. From the bottom of my heart, still punctured by that blade you sink between my ribs. Go fuck yourself. You've made your choice. Now I make mine. And Longdu turns her head, faces Seir and Lumira and Phoenix and the symbols and says, I will take care of my sister. My symbols will take care of her army. But this is not the only battle being fought in the City of Heaven today. The mist needs help. And without it, we will be lost. Xiaocheng, my virtue, our city needs you. I need you. And in this moment, Xiaocheng, with their hand gripped around that wrist, holding that treasonous blade, they freeze. They look up. Their eyes shrink back down to a manageable size, not a mortal size, but a divine size, trapped within mortal restraints. And they look at Longdu, and those words from their mentor, from the only entity they've ever felt close enough to call parent, ring true inside their soul. And the hand quivering with that traitorous blade stills. They master it. And Xiaocheng lifts their arm and they cast the blade aside. But as the sword whirls through the air, Longdu's right hand comes out and she catches it by the hilt. And the Emperor raises her head and she says to both of you, you may not be cultivators of Yaolan, or even beings of the Sister Realms, but I must ask for your assistance one final time. The mist's corruption must be cut off at the source. The Forge Master, that's the only way this nightmare will end. Take the river gourd with Xiaocheng and go with my courier and virtue. Fate will guide you.
I think it slips out of Lumira's mouth before she's even able to stop herself. Trust in her will. And we'll turn to look at Seir.
Meanwhile, Seir has only heard one word that fell out of Longdu's mouth. Forge Master. As all that covers his head, his ears, is a high-pitched ringing, one that can only be felt when you are at your most desperate. And Seir, Lumira, you hear this deep guttural groan coming out of Seir as he mutters under his breath, no, 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 no. And coming out of the wounds on his back, piercing flesh, a large white and black billowing tail made of curls and curves bursts out of his back. His arm, the furs on his arms begin to unfurl all the way up to his shoulder. His fangs and jaw dislocate forward to bring out a full set of canine teeth. And the antlers rise. They change slightly. You could have sworn the angle was different. And Seir snaps back to you this partial monsterification. The Forge Master. Come to me. I'll take us there. And Seir has increased in size. There's enough room on his back for not only you, but Xiaocheng as well, as he lowers himself like a guardian beast.
Okay. I think Lumira's and just okay. We have to get
You're
this.
gonna ride Seir?
Absolutely.
Okay. I phrased it rather poorly. But Lumira, you grab
and my
at
ass
the
just
Seir.
agrees. Like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course I would. Oh my god. Yeah, you grab onto the fur that's starting to sprout from his enlarging body, the cracked bone, the tail whipping out, and you swing a leg over the back of this, not even skin anymore, almost like a roughened, tough, bestial hide. And Seir, I need to know, are you still holding onto patience in one hand, even as you transform?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's holding onto it for dear life as if it were a compass in a hunter's hand. As he's holding it outward. Show me where Sidon is.
Yeah, you feel it vibrating in your hand like a dowsing rod, pointing due north toward its twin, pointing right toward where violence must be. And then you see the sheen of the blade shoot through with light once more, and when the light evaporates, you see that same antlered visage, that black fur, those horns sprawling into infinity, and you hear a voice, a now familiar voice in your head, resonating deep within your soul. You are slipping out of control, boy. No matter how you feel about me, you must acknowledge this power that you wield in order to control it. You must know who I am.
I don't care who you are.
Look at me, boy. Look at me.
No. My hero needs me. And I won't look upon your lies.
And the light flashes again, and you see your own face, and you can hear a guttural growl resonating out of your dislocated throat. And then you feel as though a leaf falling on the back of a great elephant. Xiao Cheng alighting upon you as well, the gourd tightly strapped to their waist. Their eyes focused, no longer shaking, but empowered with the strength of the words from their emperor flowing through them. Okay, yes, Emperor, we will do as you have said. I will not fail you. I will not fail the city of heaven. And as though on cue, battered and bruised, but in formation, Strike Team Phoenix takes up positions around your crew. You see Cove unshackling her weapon. You see Amaru cocking their head from side to side and unsheathing that golden lance. And you also see Ash raising their hands and a strange kind of vibrational magic tensing around their presence. And Ash signs to your party, "We'll cover you." Ansha also pats Sayer twice on the side, this demonic assassin, hair flowing, and as oh my god, that was a sexy growl. Sayer, I just had to pause my description to acknowledge that.
The way I had to scream! I just screamed!
Oh, monster fuckers arise. Monster fucker truthers arise. Anyway, Ansha's black hair flows behind their... No, they have storm gray hair. Excuse me. Ansha's storm gray hair flows behind their robes, and as they lift a hand, you see it starting to curl and curdle into a demonic claw. But they smile, that same sweet, sappy smile towards Xiao Cheng, revealing sharpened canine teeth. Go. Courtier. No. Virtue now. I know you won't fail the Emperor whom you admire so much. We'll hold down the fort. And Ansha steps back, and you also feel magic starting to tense around the assassination demon. And Sayer, Lumira, Xiao Cheng, as the three of you turn and steel yourself against this hall, as if on cue, all hell breaks loose. A mounting battle erupts, and we hear roars, we hear weapons being unsheathed, we hear demons growling, and we see Longdu and Qigu brandishing their blades, one broken, one whole, and rush forward. And on that rush, we cut to the diamond furnace. Zynon. On that knife's edge of death, you hear the Forge Master's voice. That's enough. A shame, really. We really were so much alike. But eating you now here would give me nothing. You are still just a mortal, after all. And I must save my appetite. The real devouring begins now, down there. It's time for me to go. The Forge Master turns and strides out of the White Forge, leaving you behind to die, to turn into a monster, to become corrupted by the mist. Whatever your fate, she is done with you. She is leaving to finish what she started, because her journey has only just begun. As the Forge Master vanishes into the thickening mist beyond the forge, Naeem and Yinghe rush over to where you're slumped, and their hazy shapes swimming in and out of focus to you. And I have a crucial question for you in this moment, Zynon. Are there any tags you'd like to burn to reduce your status? Or
Yes. Oh.
would you like to leave this up to fate?
Oof. I think sitting between that moment, almost outside of himself, and watching these people approach, they're just shapes, and he is kind of adrift in the journey in a way that I think is his truest inner self. And there's a little part of him, this boy on Kiseki, that wants to clasp and grab at. His voice inside, though, isn't yelling to fight. It is tied deep, deep, deep down into one phrase. The meaning of it shifts like a kaleidoscope every 5 minutes, centering around an idea, a precept, a saint, a chosen one. But all he can think is to trust in her will.
And her will, in this moment, Zion and Ash, simply doesn't let you die. You should! You really should. You really, really should, but you don't. With every passing second, your wound seems to stabilize, the out-of-focus figures seem to clarify, and in the Transplanar Reification and Nourishment Syndicate in Artemis's office, we see the Hand of Fate, the patron saint of mortals, at their desk, doing paperwork. And then, they suddenly keel over. There is a convulsion of the shoulders, and when they lift back up, we see blood splattered across her desk. Bright red, painfully mortal blood. And Artemis feels in her soul of souls that tether between her and Zynon, the death that she has taken for him. In the White Forge, you hear Naeem's voice. Zynon! Zynon! Don't you dare fucking leave me now, do you hear me?
You're yelling.
And there's a great sigh of relief, but still insistence and fear. Okay, well, if you're good enough to be sassy, you're good enough to fight for your life. Just stay still. You, Yinghe, is it? Cup their head, please. Cup the side of his head. And you feel shaking cold fingers cupping the side of your head, which is honestly a welcome relief from the burning hot blood that's streaming down the side of your face. And as that's happening, you're still swimming in and out of focus. You hear prayer papers fluttering around you, and you can feel them beginning to settle over the wounds of your body, specifically starting to wrap almost as bandages around your head. And Naeem's not a healer specialization. He can do it. Ash is supposed to be the healer, but he's good enough to stabilize you in this moment. So Zynon, you get to clear 1 tier off any status of your choice.
Oh, thank God.
And as Yinghe is also stabilizing you, you feel shadowy tendrils of strength wrapping themselves around your skin, sinking into your blood, into your soul. And these shadowy tendrils help you recover up to 2 burned tags of your choice.
Oh my God.
So what status are you trying to clear 1 tier off of?
I'm gonna take one off of that broken 6, thanks.
That's true. That's true. You're only at broken 5 now. Lovely.
Yeah.
What 2 tags would you like to recover? Yeah.
And I think with Yinghe's help, those shadows reach in and find the parts of Zynon that had begun to extinguish the survivalist instinct. And I think his tie to the ghosts, messages from the beyond.
I love that. Yeah, you were, as soon as the hammer slammed into the side of your head and the ghosts vanished, you couldn't hear them anymore. Like, they were starting to fade from you. But as the shadows basically tether them back to you, pull them back, you hear those whispers just on the edges of your perception. You'll have to focus to hear what they're saying, but the ghosts have returned to you. You can feel their presence once more. And as you start to rejuvenate, recover here, Naeem places a hand on your opposite shoulder from Yinghe. The Forge Master has escaped. She's vanished into the mist beyond the White Forge. If we want to catch up to her, if we want to stop her, we have to go now.
Then let's go.
Zynon, Yinghe and I can take care of this. You can stay behind and rest if you have to. I don't want you to be in any more danger than you've already... Well, it was worth a
Nice
shot.
try.
Come on.
Hey. Thanks. And Zynon looks Naeem dead in the eyes. And one green and one ember orange eye look up at him.
Yes! Yeah, the cracked side of your face still sparking with the heat from the forge, the divinity thrumming in the Forge Master's hammer. Naeem lets out a quick exhale. Don't thank me. Just pay me back by living, okay?
All right. And delirious Zynon kind of starts to try and pull himself up, and I choose to believe that Yinghe is like, no.
Yeah, Yinghe helps you, right? Like, puts shoulders underneath your arms and helps you get to your feet. And you wobble a little bit, really unsteady. Your head moves, but then you catch yourself.
And I think as he stands up, he looks down, he sees his hat that he tossed aside in rage, in vengeance, in fury when he lost himself for just a second. And he scoops it up, puts it on, takes a deep, steadying breath, looks to his palm. There's no cherry blossom there. There were cherry blossoms, and he reaches behind his neck and pulls out cherry blossom. Huh. All right, we gotta go stop all this shit. And Zynon is going to slowly first, but as he walks, it goes from uneasy to steadier to steady, and even footfalls as he runs towards the exit to the forge.
Zynon, you stagger out of the exit of the forge and you enter a cloud of pure white mist. And as this mist thickens and thickens, we see figures starting to move through it like shadows. And when it thins, we see Lumira and Sayre. In the Hall of Peerless Destiny, demons clash with gods, monsters clash with cultivators, and sister clashes against sister. The fight starts instantly, and it does not stop. All you can see is mist and fire and water and steel and wood and shadow and amethyst and silver and jade and bone, and the monsters are everywhere and violence is everywhere. How do the two of you, alongside Xiaocheng, attempt to escape the hall on your way towards Zynon and Esh?
I think Lumira, in the rush of everything, taking in Sayre's new abilities and everything that's going on around, I think her panic response is going to one of the few things that she she knows, like breathing. So she'll climb down off of Sayre and try her damnedest to get to Zynon. The entire time she's like yelling out, like, you need to stabilize his neck. You need to make sure, like he can't just be, help, do something.
Are you so Zynon isn't in the Hall of Peerless Destiny? Just a quick above the table clarification. Zynon's not physically here. Zynon is far away from here. Is like
Jiminy
in the
Christmas.
White Forge. Yeah. So this sequence is you trying to get out of the hall because there are two armies clashing in here.
The way my brain just went right past.
No, you're all
that
good. You're so fine.
So
it's
sorry.
all good. We can
Sayre,
rewind.
go
to
first.
the
I'll
top.
follow you after.
Cool.
If it's okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. You, as the both of you are sat on Sayre's back, he like crouches enough for the both of you to stabilize, and you hear the deep breathing of a feral beast beneath you. And Sayre's voice has dropped an octave as he says, "Hang on." And as he like settles both of you on his back. And what I'm gonna do, Connie, as Sayre is barrel through. I do not give a flying fuck who is in my way. I will grab them by the throat and toss them to Cove and Amaru if I have to. I don't care. My priority is Zynon.
This sounds like a tempt fate to me, actually. So when you tempt fate with your actions, roll plus mythos. So just however many mythos themes you have.
Okay, let me do that really quick.
That's a 2, I think, right, for you?
So how many? What do I need to add again? Sorry,
how many mythos themes you have? So the number of mythos themes you have.
I have
Can I
2.
help with or attempt to help with tempt fate? I can't remember.
Yeah, you absolutely can. You can help a crewmate here. So you can roll
Yeah.
2d6 plus any available number of help points you have. If you have 0, then it's a +0.
Oh, I wanted to use an ability to help, not use my help points.
I was
gonna put Sayir in a liminal and fast track us.
Okay, then I think that's to channel your power, actually. So
Okay.
I want the two of you to roll simultaneously. So Sayir just roll with a +2.
Okay.
You can't invoke any additional tags for this. And Lumira,
Okay.
what tags are you invoking for the liminal?
I'm going to use control of time, creating liminals, and shielded by time as well. However, I will inflict doesn't understand the power.
Okay, I'm also going to inflict fatigues on you in this moment. So that's a
Okay,
+1
plus
net
one.
for you. All right, Sayir, what did you get?
9.
Okay, that's a mixed success. Lumira?
Oh, that's not so nice. That's
Uh-oh.
That's a 7.
Okay, that's a mixed
Okay.
success from both of you. All right. Okay.
You already know the answer. So don't even ask.
The effect is volatile, I guess. Yep, the effect is volatile.
Yeah.
Lovely, because we know what the mixed success outcome for channeling power is at this moment. Okay. On a 7 to 9 on Tempt Fate, you triumph over this specific ordeal, but attract the attention of your enemies. They react immediately. That seems pretty obvious. Lumira, what does it look like as the liminal flickers into existence around Sayir?
I think from Lumira's chest, you feel it first, Sayir. It kind of sears into your back. It feels like this bright golden light before you see like these spectral shimmering gold clock gears form right in front of you and then start ticking in conjunction with each other. You've seen her do it before, and it seems like the people around us are moving slower than what they were previously moving as.
Clock gears crank and whir into translucent place around Sayir as though the heat shield from a falling meteorite. As you charge forward, and just as Lumira had attempted, you see the battlefield suddenly slow down to bullet time, and as your eyes flick from left to right, you see a crumbling pillar descending as slowly as a falling tower of cards, and you see a wall of flame explode upward from Druling's sword and just slice barely in time to catch up to where you are. You see a rampaging demon with no fewer than 3 god monsters attached to his fur as his hooves pound over the ground, and he swings his axe, but you're able to barrel through all of this like a literal bullet in actual time. The only 2 figures in this space who don't seem to be moving slowly, who seem to be moving actually very quickly, even so fast that you can barely keep up, are Queen Sigu and Longdu. In this liminal, you can barely track their movements as they slam into the sandalwood throne and then slam into a pillar, up into the roof, down into the ground. They are moving faster than the mortal or divine eye can track, and their blades are clanging against each other and sending up huge, massive, magical shockwaves of force every time they clash. Because of the mixed success of both of your natures, you are just about at the entrance to the Hall of Peerless Destiny when the liminal flickers and breaks. And it explodes. The liminal just... and a shockwave of time magic pulses behind all of you and hits into everything at your back. And for a split second, everything seems to freeze. And then we see some demons suddenly age a lot, and then some god beasts suddenly seem to de-age. A beast that looks like a massive bird creature suddenly turns back into an egg, and we see the fallen, crumbled amethyst pillar revert itself back up and then crumble again and then revert itself back up, and these pockets of chaotic time magic just sparking behind you and throwing
so
both of you
cool.
akimbo.
I'm sorry, I had to stop it really quick to just be like, that's so fucking awesome, Connie.
Why, thank you. And I need both of you to take battered 2 as a result of being flung outward here. You can burn as many tags as you would like to inhibit that. So would any of you like to burn tags?
No, I'm alright. I'll keep it.
No.
Okay.
No, I'll take it.
Okay. Sounds good. And Xiao Cheng kind of lands gracefully on the ground, like floating down with divine elegance, and picks himself back up. Now all of you are at the entrance. And you sense in this moment something hurtling very quickly in your direction. A flaming arrow that a demonic archer had loosed, trying to prevent the 3 of you from escaping. But then there's a flash of golden light, and we see Amaru's lance come down, and Amaru lands between your party and the arrow as the arrowhead thwicks uselessly into the ground next to Lumira's boot. And Amaru looks up, and there's a moment as they lock eyes with you, Lumira, as he just looks at you, and it almost looks like he wants to say something, but then he just gives you a curt nod and turns back to the fight.
I was gonna say, Lumira does the exact same thing. She notices it immediately and looks down and sees that it's Zaze and just looks up at him. Silent nod of appreciation before turning back to the mission.
I love it. And Sayer, Lumira, Xiao Cheng, the 3 of you turn around and you book it out of the Hall of Peerless Destiny. And you surface into mist. And we see this mist, thick, opaque, white, like a snowy ocean. And when it thins, we see Zynon stumbling out of the White Forge, blinking around, trying to clarify your perception. The mist has thickened to such a degree that it reminds you of the Dreaming City. The entirety of heaven is bathed in a lucent veil of nightmares that refuses to lift by wind, by magic, or by force. You can barely see more than 30 bu ahead of you, and even so, you can hear the calamity. You can hear the screams somewhere down there. You're almost positive it comes from the Hall of Peerless Destiny. You can hear the roars, the clashes. The entire city is descending into chaos, and the source of it is fast escaping your reach. How do you attempt to follow the Forge Master?
Zynon reaches deep down in that bottomless well of resolve. And he begins to run. And every time he has approached an edge, a mountaintop, a tall building here in the City of Heaven, he has been hesitant to jump off of tall things, even though people have repeatedly said it's safe. But we are in a place made of magic. And Zynon is going to take a leap of faith, believing in his own ability to will the magic here.
You know what? In the spirit of what you're attempting, I think that's attempt fate. So roll 2d6 plus the number of mythos themes you have. I think that's 1.
It's 1.
Okay, go for it.
It's been nice knowing y'all. That is an admirable gentleman's 8.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's a big success. Yes, okay, excellent. So you triumph over this specific ordeal, but you attract the attention of your enemies.
Oh, yeah.
They get to react immediately. Okay, so as you leap off of the peak of the White Forge, for a moment you feel weightless. And then your gut tumbles up to your heart, which tumbles up into the pit of your throat, and you're falling. You are straight up just falling through the mist, through the clouds, and you can see a roof tile coming up very quickly underneath your feet to meet it, and then you levitate. You slow down, right before you hit the roof, and your feet kind of like touch down on it, and you're able to catch yourself with the momentum moving forward as you feel Naeem's magic lace around your body, as Naeem also touches down next to you, and Xiaocheng with suture papers fluttering like wings around your group.
Oh, thank fate. You know, I thought
Are you
that
serious?
would work.
You really should give me a heads up the next time you jump off of the edge of a cliff.
It's been working for everyone else here. I thought I'd give it a try.
I know how much you hate heights, so seeing you do that was... Well, we have a Forge Master to catch up to.
Yeah. All right. Zynon turns, and you can hear the soft soles of his tabby boots shift on the tiles, and he pulls his bow into his hand, tosses it to his actual bow hand, and looks ahead into the fog, and draws a line in his mind as the crow flies from where they are to the Hall of Peerless Destiny. And just begins to run, leaping from building to building as quickly as he can.
The path opens up before you, as though a god had drawn a glimmering brush to show you the perfect shortcuts to take for like the fastest distance to get there. Because of course, the shortest route from point A to point B is a straight line. And you see that straight line open up on the tops of roof tiles, on the upper branches of fruit trees, on the apexes of massive bridges the size of entire neighborhood districts. And you run. This minor flight spell that Naeem has barely enough energy to summon to sustain your group allows you to enables you to leap across great distances, and it's almost like you're soaring when you're in the apex of your jump, but then you land very gently and then you jump back up. So it's like this that we see you bounce from roof to courtyard to tree to bridge until you finally see a tail wicking its way out of the mist. And then the mist parts, and the three of you see Shriziang. She is maybe 100 bu ahead of you at this point, and she's also landing from rooftop to rooftop, but not with the same kind of vulpine grace. With a kind of heavy, powerful, pouncing motion. She gets down on all fours, hits the ground, and you see roof tiles crack underneath the weight of her landing, and then she rips her way back up into the air and pounces back onto the ground. You see her. But you've also drawn the attention of your enemies, so I need you to roll me a d6.
Uh-oh, okay. Here we go. Roll better. 6.
Oh, lovely. So, just as you see Shriziang, you feel something on the periphery of your perception, and you are able to maneuver out of the way as... At first you think they're arrows, and then you realize they're thorns? No, they're sharpened feathers. As a contingent of avian monstrous gods descends upon your group, shrieking and throwing these blade feathers at you. That's what a 6 was. It's a throng of monstrous gods on my random encounter table. So I think you're gonna get hit with a hail of these thorns as you continue running towards Shriziang. So I'm gonna need you to take the status Bleeding 2. Would you like to burn anything to reduce that? Okay, you're also muted in this moment.
No, I do not want to burn any tags to... I'm just going to add it to my collection of tags.
Yeah. You're pretty messed up. I'm looking at your sheet. You're pretty dang messed up right now, Tynan.
For those of you at home, very messed up, but we're going. And I think Zynon just... weaving in and out, and the like hail of sharpened feathers cutting through his robes, his, you know, he's got like specific, like someone threw a dagger through his clothes through and through, that's cutting, but it doesn't stop him as he runs forward and yells, "Forge Master! You may be done with me, but I'm not done with you!"
And your venomous roar echoes across the rooftops of the City of Heaven as you close the distance between yourself and Shriziang. And finally, we surface out of an ocean of mist to find the Forge Master of the City of Heaven, pausing on one of the many roofs of Plum Leaf Courtyard. She closes her eyes briefly, breathing in this symphony of calamity, the rolling seas of fog, the monsters, the demons. She doesn't look happy, per se, but rather grimly satisfied. This is the eve of change. This is the dawn of a new era. And then, just as your roar rings out, a prayer paper shoots out of the fog and sticks onto her axe-bearing arm, the same arm that still flows with white blood from that god-killing arrow. And this prayer paper detonates with a divine explosion. And when the radiant smoke clears, we see Shuijiang, eyes open once more, ears flattened against her skull, and the mist clears just enough for us to see Zainan, Yinghe, and Naim on a nearby roof, separated from Shuijiang by a courtyard. And we see Naim lowering his hand, a halo of sutra papers rotating around his arms and torso like obedient birds. And Yinghe steps forward, with violence shaking in his grasp, the shadows at her feet beginning to deepen and seethe like a roiling oil pit. And Shuijiang's other ear twitches, and she turns her head to the other side of this courtyard, just in time to see Lumira, Seir, and Xiaocheng surfacing out of the mist, landing onto the tiles of a nearby roof. And Shuijiang forms that point of that triangle between these two trios. And the Forge Master steps forward onto the slope of the roof she's on, a hand clenched into a fist holding her hammer. Xiaocheng raises their head in challenge, and also gets off of Seir's back and places a hand on the hilt of the sword strapped at their waist, which they now reveal the same sword that had borne Lumira up to the peaks of the Vermilion Library what feels like a lifetime ago. And the courtier of four symbols says, "Forge Master, give it up. The Emperor will defeat your queen like she always has, like she always will. And besides, you're outnumbered here. You're no longer the only god in this fight."
Xiaocheng, I have to admit, you are the perfect choice for the position of virtue. You are loyal, you're generous, you're brave, but you are wrong about one thing. I'm not outnumbered.
And then, in a beam of black light, the Plum Leaf Ascension Gate activates. There's a thrum of magic, an explosion of it. And when that pillar of void dies down, flickering out of existence, we see, standing on that raised stone dais, Shalong, Tang Tang, and Bai Guting. And we're gonna cut to break there. So we'll see you all in 10 minutes. Enjoy the fan art reel. Enjoy Spawny, sponsor Connie. Bisho, bisho. narratively driven theater of the mind style tabletop campaigns, then check out Cheipeku Scenes. Cheipeku Scenes are hand-painted, intricately detailed backdrops that will deepen immersion, establish mood, and take your campaign to the next level. They even have a commercial license for fellow creators just like me. I've been using Cheipeku Scenes on the Chaos Protocol, my own streamed tabletop campaign, and the animated backdrops add so much depth and engagement for my players and the viewers. Plus, all of Cheipeku's scenes match perfectly with their battle maps. So if you're fighting a wizard on the edge of a waterfall, you can switch seamlessly between map and scene to convey the full majesty of your encounter. Chei and Peku are a couple who love to make maps, creating unique and outlandish scenes you won't find anywhere else. And as one of the top RPG creators on Patreon, they've got the imagination to match yours. For only $5 per scene, you'll unlock every variation, plus a license for commercial use. For $10 per scene, you'll get access to animated scenes, as well as Alchemy RPG and Foundry VTT modules. But here's the kicker, patrons of any tier get free access to Cheipeku's entire backlog. You're only charged for new scenes that they release 4 to 5 times a month. I can personally attest to just how incredible these scenes are in terms of quality, consistency, and immersion. So head on over to cheipeku.com to browse their entire backlog and pledge to their Patreon today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the back half of this very special Arc 2 Chaos Protocol campaign session. Before you hop right back into the session, just a reminder that Cheipeku is one of our incredible sponsors. They're an amazing company that creates unique, imaginative, and outlandish TTRPG maps you won't find anywhere else. So I want you all to take a moment to just click on that link that's going to come up in the chat of the Twitch chat any moment now. You don't even have to pledge to their Patreon necessarily, though I highly recommend you do, especially if you're a game master and you like to run immersive games with scenes and maps. Even just clicking on the link helps us. So go to bit.ly/Cheipeku, click on that link. It really, really helps us. And into content warnings for the back half of this episode and this episode in general. So the Chaos Protocol is, of course, a dark fantasy series that may contain content that is triggering for some viewers. So content warnings for the session may include fantasy violence, body horror, gore, blood, monsters and monstrosity, divine cannibalism, grief, manipulation, loss of bodily agency, depictions of heights, romance, and mentions of death of loved ones and family. So use !CW in chat at any time to get a look at our content warnings. If you're in the Twitch chat, if you are on TikTok or YouTube, go to transplanerrpg.com to learn more about the major themes of each of our campaigns and potential topics that might arise. And with that out of the way, let's hop right back into the session. The three demons appear exactly the same as they did when you fought them mere days ago in this very courtyard. Shalong is tall, broad, muscular, with emerald green skin and a shaggy black beard that rests beneath a necklace of skulls. The monk spade across his back glistens with malice, and a new scar, thickens the muscles of his neck, a bite-shaped wound with sharp puncture wounds from malformed lion tusks. Tang Tang cocks Ta the head skyward, slitted pupils latching onto each of you. Their 9 fox-like tails quiver and seethe behind them, the same dirty red shade as their short, unkempt hair. Just like last time, Ta wears a flowing martial shirt tucked into a pair of trousers imbued with a sense of vulpine grace and violence. And finally, in the center of the trio, we see Bai Guting. She is beautiful. She is terrible. Her bone-white skin contrasts with her ink-black hair, a living, translucent shawl levitating around her arms. Ta twirls that round black fan between one of Tada's fingers, exposing either side of a silk-printed, pure white skull. Yes, these demons look exactly like they did last time, but also poignantly different. There is an emotion on each of their faces. A new thirst, a new desire, a hunger for revenge against you. Shalong squares his shoulders against Seir. Tang Tang's tails flick in Zainan's direction, and Bai Guting rests her pellucid gaze on Lumira. And in a single fluid motion, as though they were 3 parts of one whole instead of disparate actors working together, these demons vault into the sky and land on the rooftop next to Shrixiang. And the Forge Master heaves her mighty hammer over one scarred shoulder, and as the mist thickens, she cracks her neck in either direction and then says,
"Go."
And the demons attack. So it's time to dive into action. So when your crew dives into action against a violent foe, or multiple foes in this case, describe how you ready yourselves in the face of chaos and roll 2d6 plus tags. So I want to zoom in on Zainan first.
Zainan has been holding his bow as he's been leaping from rooftop to rooftop. And I think with Naeem's help, that sense of weightlessness kind of making him feel more and more strangely grounded. The impact is less hard. His inner ear finally settling as he finds his footing and his eyes sharpen again. That bright, burning orange eye matching the brightness of his green eye. And I would like to use Deadeye,
Okay.
the birdsong bow, And survivalist. And
Okay.
sentinel against the ending.
That's a +4, so roll for it. We're gonna pan across the courtyard to find Lumira on Sayur's back.
I think Lumira's watching everything around her, and when she sees that specific demon make eye contact with her, and she sees the Queen of the Underworld roll and crack her neck as if she's getting ready to hand me my ass, but I am Lumira. She knows nothing of what I can do. So when she sees that, she smirks and crawls down off of Sayir before rolling her shoulders back and cracking her neck from side to side as well. And she adopts a stance that is essentially, come and get me.
I love that.
and she preps for any and everything. I think she's working all off of instinct now, and her instinct now is not the calling that fate knows it. It's the calling that she knows. It's most effective.
Excellent. Yeah. Before you do your power tags, a quick above the table retake. So Bai Guizing is not the Queen of the Underworld. So if you could just re-say as you see Bai Guizing.
I thought that she was the one that did the neck roll. Okay, no, my bad. Well,
No, actually, technically, it was. I don't want to get pedantic about this. Technically, it was Striziang who cracked her neck. Bai Guizing just kind of looked at you
Gotcha.
like,
my bad.
you know, kind of like a yeah.
Okay, I still do it, but I make eye contact with that demon instead and crack my neck over to the side and adopt that stance. Come get me.
Excellent. Which power tags would you like to invoke?
I'm going to use Forbidden Knowledge, Love is Power, Control of Time, Threading the Journey, Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time. I will invoke Fatigued. I will invoke Doesn't Understand Its Power. And Disrupts the Journey, too.
Okay, so that's a net +3 for you. We're gonna pan over now to Sayir.
Sayir helps Lumira get off his back by lowering his shoulder down. And as he emerges and looks up at the main target of his bloodlust, Suijiang, his eyes flit over to the monk spade wielding demon, and he growls gutturally in his chest. I knew I should have finished you off the first time. I will invoke the following tags: How to Hunt, Bulwark, Precise Counterattack, Weave Omens, Hungry Form, Powerful Against Gods, Monstrous Countenance, and a Devourer's Edge.
Okay, I'm gonna invoke Weak to Gods, Scares People, and Just a Weapon. So that's a net
Perfect.
+5 for you. Okay, let's start from Zynon. What did you get?
9.
Got a 9? Okay, Zynon, 9. What about Lumira?
Someday I will roll.
Hey, Connie, what can you do with a 10?
A 10? That's great. This is just the initiative order, y'all. So this is lovely. So it decides who goes first, but the 10 is excellent. What about Sayir?
Sayir rolled a 14 total.
I'm sorry, you cut out for me. I'm so sorry. What was that?
Valiant!
Val!
I rolled a 14, a 9 on the die, and +5, 14.
Okay, so Sayir, you will be the first to act with your 14 as that guttural growl rips out of your throat. What do you do?
I am jumping on that demon, and I'm going to finish what I fucking started and bite its neck, their neck again. And
Okay.
and they're right next to Shui Jiang. They're right next to
They
Shui
are,
Jiang,
yeah.
which is perfect for me. So I get a 2-in-1 bonus deal there.
Okay,
I
so
would like
that's
to
unleash violence. Yep. So what power tags would you like to invoke?
Let's see, which ones do I want to? How to
RJ
hunt.
Chomp.
Okay.
How to hunt. Bulwark.
Uh-huh.
Weave omens. Hungry form. Powerful against gods. Monstrous countenance. And Devourer's edge.
Okay, I'm gonna invoke scares people, weak to gods, just a weapon, and ravenous. So that's gonna be a +3.
Oh, the Ravenous is not coming in quite yet. That's
Oh!
the,
Oh, you're right. You prepped something that I didn't realize was off the table right now. So let's audience wipe your memory. Let's pretend you didn't hear that. So I'm gonna invoke. So how many is that total? 6
7.
for you? 7. Okay, I'm gonna invoke weak to gods, scares people, just a weapon, and bleeding 3. So that's a +1 net for you.
Okay, that's fine. That's a 7.
Okay, that's a mixed success. So you exchange blows on a 7. You rampage across the rooftops, basically like in full bestial form. That roar tearing from your throat toward Shalong, and you leap across the gap, separating these 3 different buildings, and you barrel into this demon holding this monk spade. He steadies himself, sees you coming, and turns the spade around so the crescent side is facing you and catches you against the throat to kind of prevent you from like a rabid wolf onto his neck. And he's holding you at bay with this polearm, but I think your claws scythed out, including the hand holding patience. You kind of get him on the arm if you would like. So how does this violence flare out of you?
I'd like to think that the moon sickle, like that's on the moon spade, like pierces right on either end of the shoulder, like holding Sayer taut,
yeah.
and
On the
he
collarbone,
whips. Yeah, he whips around Patience and holds down onto the elbow of Bai Gujing. No, this is Shalong. And presses down onto the arm as if, and they're at this kind of impasse of who's going to relent first, as both of these blades are cutting each of our skins. And he's just growling in their face.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're growling, and you can feel like blood starting to weep out of the 2 sharp points digging into your collarbone. And I need you to advance bleeding by 1 more pip. Would you like to burn a tag to reduce it? That would bring it up to bleeding 4. Okay, which tag are you burning?
I will burn. Precise counterattack. He's not being precise right now.
Yeah, you're being like, "Grah!" right now. Absolutely. God. And he's kind of holding you at bay. And you see just a flash of fear in his eyes for a second before he blinks and growls against his black beard and kind of holds you in a stalemate here, right? Away from Shijiang, who seems completely unconcerned. The Forge Master regards you with some disinterest, but similar to that blank expression she'd given Zynon back in the White Forge, there's an emotion now bubbling underneath it. Rage and impatience. And you say you're so close. I don't know if you register this because you're consumed by bloodlust at this moment, but Shijiang's eyes hook onto Xiaocheng, and the Forge Master says, in a voice to the other demons,
"The gourd, now."
And we see the other demons turn and pivot and start to triangulate toward the gourd. And now we're gonna cut over to Lumira.
Lumira sees everyone making their way towards Xiaocheng and the gourd. No. So Lumira will dig her heel deep into the ground, settling herself in a stance. I'm going to keep them from that gourd and Xiaocheng as best as I can. I'm going to attempt to create a liminal to move Xiaocheng from where they are at and poof them over into another section of the battlefield with the gourd.
Oh, just kind of like them away from this rooftop, like as far away from the demons as possible?
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna have to channel your power to do that.
Absolutely.
What tags would you like to invoke?
I'm going to use Love is Power, Chronergy. I will invoke Fatigued. I'm going to use Control of Time, as well as Threading the Journey. I will use Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time, and Powerful Presence as well.
Okay. That's a 7. You're invoking Fatigued. I'm going to invoke Doesn't Understand this power as well. Disrupts the journey. And I'm also going to invoke Haunted 1, Marked for Death 2. So that's a net 1.
Okay. What can you do with another 10, Connie?
Okay. So that's excellent. That means the effect is exactly as intended. There's a moment of clockwork gears spinning around Xiao Cheng, and then we kind of just see them lift up off of the tiles, and they across the courtyard. Where are you trying to fling them?
I am putting them over closer towards okay, so where is Sayir and Zynon and like Phoenix on the battlefield at this point?
Phoenix is not here. Phoenix is still
not
back at
here
the
yet?
Hall of Peerless
Okay,
Death.
so
they're
it's
not
just-
coming here. They're
Okay.
helping the symbols in the Hall of Peerless
Gotcha.
Destiny.
Okay.
So it's just Nova here.
So-
yeah, Sayir is on the roof with Striziang and the 3 demons, and Zynon is on the opposite roof across the courtyard from you.
Then Xiao Cheng goes back behind me.
Okay, you're just like a shield. You swing Xiao Cheng behind you to the other end of this rooftop that you're standing on. So they're on like the far side away from Shijiang from you. Okay, yeah. And there's also like a time shield around them, basically. And from everyone else's perspective, Xiao Cheng goes, Lumira, what? And then they freeze as they're stuck inside this bubble and they swing behind you. And you can feel power humming through you, just vibrating and pulsating throughout your soul because you got a 10 plus. Lumira, you feel the same energy toll that had taken all those years from your life, had dipped your left hand in gold, starting to wreak its way through your body again as you use time magic for the second time in like less than an hour here to great effect. And you see the gold starting to creep up your left forearm, but because of the 10, you hear a glitching noise off to the side, on the periphery of your perception, on the periphery of your reality. And then you see them. The Drifter. They're not on a roof. They're floating, levitating, you think, in midair, staticking in and out of existence. You blink and they're there, you blink and they're not there, but you can hear the glitching noise of the angel, the Drifter, that's always followed you. And you hear their voice, and you feel almost like a glitching sensation around your left arm as the creeping of the gold stops. As the Drifter holds out like a shadowy, glitching arm, and you feel almost like a connection leaping across reality between you and them as they help you in this moment. And then you hear their voice say, "You can change this. You can change what happened if you keep using this power the right way."
You've never taught me any other way. I can't find any other way. You showed me the liminal. Show me how.
It's not as simple as dropping in and out. What liminal? When did I? And you hear their voice starting to echo and fracture and fragment, and then it comes back in, and the Drifter says, "All power comes from somewhere. Time magic is a relationship. It is a transmutation. You must draw the energy from other sources. You can't keep tithing your own life force to it. Draw it from somewhere else. Blood to wine, time to opportunity. Offload the cost."
It was coming from me. So how am I just supposed to draw it from someplace else?
Do what you've always done, done. And the voice starts to fragment again, and they become even more unstable, like they're unable to remain here for much longer. Be nothing short of excellent. And they glitch out of existence. And on that glitch, we pan across the battlefield to find Zynon.
Zynon is studying the Forge Master. His eyes never leave Ta. And he's trying to figure out if the Emperor was so far away, if her plans have been executed, what does she want now besides hunger and chaos? And he is going to run not directly at her. He's going to take a lateral and follow the edge of the courtyard and go along the rooftop to keep his eye on her.
Okay, it sounds like you're trying to investigate or gaze into the mist. I'll let you choose.
I'm gonna call this... You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna call this an investigate.
Okay, so invoke your tags.
Sentinel against the ending.
Excellent.
He's trying to specifically draw on, again, the same logic that draw him to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is also thinking about being Sing's mentor, the way that he knows that she feels about Lu Hua, and trying to follow the logic. So I'm going to also invoke the mentor, and love is what tethers us. Student... Oh, did I say student of those before? So
Not yet.
That. Love is what tethers us. The mentor, student of those before.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadeye.
That's 5 tags. I'm going to invoke the Blade of Grief and Broken 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a -1.
Cool. Let's go.
It's our first time doing a negative roll. It's a boss fight, baby!
It. As a treat. You know what, Connie? Eat your -1. Because for the first time in 3 sessions, I've rolled above a 10. That is an 11 minus 1 makes it a 10.
Look at Faye. Look at
my
Faye.
evil plans have been
Let's
foiled.
go.
Okay. Let's go. So on a 10 plus, I will describe an additional crucial detail even a skilled sleuth might miss, in addition to giving you everything. As you start to track Shuijiang parallelly, you see Xiaolan still locked in like a tight, violent embrace with Sayir, and you see Bai Gujing and Tang Tang spring off of the roofs and start to head. Tang Tang goes toward you and Naim and Yinghe, and Bai Gujing goes toward where Lumira is currently holding and maintaining concentration over that liminal for Xiaocheng. And you see Shuijiang start to walk slowly but surely off of the roof as though preparing to leap onto the either onto the courtyard or make that like incredible span of distance from her side to where Xiaocheng is. And her eyes are trained on that gourd. That's the most immediate thing you notice. She wants the gourd. There's something here about the gourd. It's not just about beating Nova to beat Nova. It's about getting the river gourd. And the thing you might miss is there's hunger in her eyes. There is a desire to consume, a desire to eat. Not just that. It goes beyond mere hunger. Something about obtaining the gourd will give Shuijiang the equivalent to apotheosis that a mortal might have toward divinity. You remember what she said about this being the eve of change back in the White Forge. She wasn't just talking about letting the mist run wild across the city of heaven and corrupt people into monsters. She was talking about herself. There is a final transformation Shuijiang would like to make in this moment, and it's directly related to her being able to obtain that gourd. And that mentor hook that you're reading, you're trying to read any sense of protectiveness, any sense of defensiveness, any sense of love that Shuijiang might have for Lu Hua on her face, and you see none. Not none. Maybe it is there, but it is buried, it is deep. It is hidden behind layers and layers and layers of tempered, hardened iron. Perhaps even hidden from herself. That's what you get, Zynon. So, all the PCs have gone. It's time for some shit to go sideways. So, Tang Tang lands on the roof next to Naim, Yinghe, and Zynon, and their tails begin to seethe and whip around them and I've got some fun things planned for myself. Zynon, roll me a d10.
Okay. D10. Oh, that's not in my tray. 7.
As the tails seethe around them, they wrap around their body, but they're still moving forward as this happens, so they turn into kind of like a bullet of russet brown fur, and then when the fur comes down, you see a massive dire wolf in Tang Tang's place, the same kind of dark timber red color as before with like white-tipped ears, and Tang Tang slams into Naeem, who throws up their hand and forms a shield, that same barrier that blocked the blow of a god. But Naeem is staggered like you, has been broken like you, and the shield shatters after 2 claws down at Naeem. But just before a claw makes contact with more than just Naeem's robe, ripping a deep gouge across his chest, we see Yinghe turn and swing with the crescent blade of violence. And we see it carve across down this demon's flank, and the timber wolf lets go of Naeem and like swivels around to face Yinghe as well. And then we see the shadows underneath Tang Tang's body start to roil and seethe as though they were standing on top of an oil field, as we see Yinghe raise their hands, and we see tendrils of shade ribbon up and fix this dire wolf in place as Tang Tang like snaps and howls against it. And now we push across the roof to find Bai Guzing landing in front of Lumira. So we see, just like last time, the translucent shawl transforms into a serrated sword with joints of bone that she whips out, not at Lumira, but at the liminal, where Xiaocheng is. And we see that pointed, sharp, serrated blade smash into the wall of the liminal, and Lumira, you feel it as though the blade were cutting into you. And it takes, like, I think you shudder against it, as she's starting to break your focus, starting to break your concentration over the magic that you're sustaining here. As she smiles a kind of wicked look at you and says, "Ha, it's good to see you again, little time mage," as a taunt.
I would be lying if I said the same. But since you want to play, let's play.
And you steel yourself against her. And then that's when we hear a great kind of cracking noise as Shijiang leans into the roof with such force that the tiles shatter underneath her feet, and then she jumps. She leaps up into the air, arcing through the mist like a pouncing tiger that's found its weakened prey in the depths of a bamboo grove, and then she lands with the same kind of crater next to Xiaocheng, who's still frozen inside the liminal. And we see cracks starting to form on the surface of the liminal from Bai Guzing just whoosh, with that serrated blade over and over and over again against Lumira's magic. And the final blow comes from Shijiang, who lifts the axe destruction up into one hand and smashes it against this pearl of time magic, and the pearl shatters. Lumira, it explodes against the force of this god. And I need you to take Wounded 5 as the magic into your brain. Would you like to burn some tags to reduce that?
I would love to burn some tags to attempt to reduce that. Shit.
You're actually doing pretty well burned tags wise. I'm
Burned
looking at
tags
you've got
wise?
no
I'm the
burned
only
tags.
one.
Yeah, you're doing real
I'm the
well.
only one.
Sarah has a few, I think.
I'm still worried because
I
I'm
have a
like,
few.
I might need this later. But in relation to what's going on, I think I'm definitely going to burn my Logos tag of Lumira's Oath.
Okay.
And
which tag under Lumira's Oath would you like to burn? Yeah, Forbidden Knowledge, Love is Power. and
oh, okay. I never burned a tag before, so I thought I was getting rid of the whole thing. I didn't know what specific
No,
aspects
just
of it.
individual ones.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna burn Love is Power. As well as the chronology book. I think what she uses, she knows well enough to an extent, so she doesn't really have to worry about that. So the Chronergy book and Love is Power, I will burn to knock that down. I don't even have enough space for another tag at this point. Oh God.
You can burn across themes, so it doesn't all have to be off the same theme.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I'll burn Calling the Drifter because they've already shown up.
You're min-maxing this. I love that. You're optimizing burning your tags.
Absolutely. And that's how I play. I'm a min-maxer. And then I will also I'll burn Powerful Presence too.
Okay, so that's only wounded one. That would reduce it to 1. Okay, cool. So put that on your sheet. And you said you were burning the Chronergy book? Okay. A burn is not a permanent removal, but
yeah,
that Chronergy book, which you keep on you all the time, I assume, that tome, right, strapped to your sash, strapped to your robe, as the axe cleaves down and the liminal shatters, you feel something fluttering at the side of your body, and you see your tome has flown open, and pages are shedding from it. Never to be seen again. They just float into the wind. And then you're able to like snap it shut, but a few pages have been ripped out. Gone.
Fuck! And I think you actually do hear an actual growl from Lumira at that. Just frustrated, angry, very wildly reminiscent of what we've heard from Sayir. She is pissed. And now it's everyone's problem.
Yeah, well, we feel and we hear that rage as though magically empowered. Grah! Rip out of you. Then no, your pages, and they flitter off into the wind, devoured by mist. And Xiao Chong, who has been frozen this whole time, lands back down on the roof and says, "Mira, what are you?" And looks up just in time to see the axe come down again against their head, but fast as lightning. Xiao Chong draws the blade at their side, and there's like a ding noise as we see purple wind Feng come up and intercept the axe called Destruction. We see an amethyst blade with a purple jade hilt and a purple gem in the pommel, a gift from Longdu to Xiao Chong. And they catch themselves there, though they're thrown back a few feet. They kind of slide across the tiles, like a few dozen boo, as Shijiang comes forward, like slamming the axe down again, as though wielding a hammer against a melting blade. But Shijiang parries. They parry, and at the last swing, they swivel with perfect, elegant grace, and they riposte. They slice the blade forward, and it cuts across Shijiang's torso, the bare exposed flesh and fur of it underneath the apron, and we see bright white blood well in the side and begin to like drip down the side of Shijiang's body. And Xiao Chong swivels the sword and kind of slaps it down across the air, and we see that white blood fling itself onto the tiles. Don't underestimate me, Forge Master. I was trained by the Emperor herself.
Don't underestimate us.
You did protect your head. But you forgot something else, didn't you?
And Lumira, you hear a noise as Bai Guqing's whip sword basically retracts, and we see the gourd wrapped around it as this bone demon holds it in her hand with a vicious grin. And now we're gonna go back up to the top of the initiative order.
I'm so
why don't we...
tired. I don't want to be here anymore.
So let's have you all leap into action once more. So roll me your 2d6 and invoke the tags you want to invoke for this initiative roll. We can like kind of expedite this here.
Can we invoke a crew tag?
You sure can, but that will burn it.
Don't do it for this. Don't do it for this.
Don't do it.
Do it on your turn. Do it on your turn.
See, okay. Kai, that's why you're pop. Let's see. Okay.
All right, let's start with Zynon. So what tags would you like to invoke?
Sentinel against the ending. He is now back. We have Agent Zynon Esh, who has remembered his duty.
Cool.
Survivalist. This is the answer to surviving the situation, to getting the mission done. student of those
Dad!
before because he knows criminals. He's seen them before. He's very familiar with them. And speaking of resourceful criminal, and then he is going to be moving further into using his beautiful bow, the birdsong bow. He is watching that river gorge with his dead eye, and he is going to be doing some ghost stuff. So that's untethered existence. So
That's 7.
7.
Okay, I'm not gonna subtract anything here because you're basically rolling against each other to see who will
Cool.
act
16.
first. We got okay, Zion got a 16. Let's go over to Sayer.
Okay, I am invoking Yinghe as Sayer looks over to Yinghe who's in danger. We're going to do how to hunt. We're going to do bulwark because Nova is in danger. We're going to pick seeing omens because the omens are coming true. Weave omens, hungry form, powerful against gods, monstrous countenance, and devourer's edge.
That's a 9. So roll 2d6 plus 9 for me.
I did. That is a 19 total.
Oh
So I
my
rolled a 10.
god! Oh my god! Okay, Lumira, what tags are you invoking?
Okay, so I will be invoking Diagnoses, Stabilizer, Forbidden Knowledge, Control of Time, Flashes of History, Creating Liminals, Shielded by Time. That's 7.
That's 7. Okay, roll for it.
That will be, hold on, math ain't my strong point. Give me a second. That'll be a 13 for Lumira.
Oh, nice. Okay, so first the act will actually be Sayer. You are caught in this kind of stalemate against Shalom. How do you leap into action?
Nova! Yinghe! And he realizes he's far, far away from the people and folks that he needs to protect. And he does not have time for Shalong right now. What I would like to do is... and you tell me which one I should rather roll. I want to push off of Shalong. If I knock them over, fine, but I'm prioritizing heading over back to where Nova is.
Okay, so you're trying to regroup with your party here,
Yeah.
basically? Okay, yeah. You're able to, like, disentangle yourself from Shalom
Yeah.
and leap back. Make me just a quick tempt fate roll to see if Shalom gets you on the way out.
Jesus Christ. Okay. I will invoke Yinghe. I will invoke
Okay.
How to Hunt, Bulwark, Weave Omens, and Powerful Against Gods.
Okay, I'm gonna invoke Weak to Gods and Bleeding 3. So that's a +1.
Jeez. What's +1?
You're wounded, yeah.
8.
8. Okay, so you're able to get back to your party in this turn, but you do feel like a sharp, like, slashing sensation across your back as you, like, turn and, like, make your way across the tail as the other end of the crescent blade comes down and slashes you.
As Sayer, like, leaps over, and I think he doesn't gracefully clamber onto the other side of the rooftops. He is like dangling, half of his body is dangling while he's grasping with his claws onto the tiles and he's trying to lift himself up. I don't think he's crested across quite yet.
Are you trying to get onto the building where Lumira and Xiaocheng are, or the building where Yinghe and Naeem and Zainan are?
Yinghe and Zainan are, because he wants to see what's going on first.
Absolutely. Yeah, you land onto the tiles and you start to crawl your way up, right? Like pieces of ceramic crumbling past your claws as you surface up onto the roof once more, bleeding in so many different kinds of gouges all the way down your back, staining your skin red. We pan across this battlefield to now find Zainan, who's right there.
Yeah, right there. Actually, Sarah, as you crest the edge of the building, you see Zainan. He looks different. I'm sure that you are not entirely able to see all the things that are different, but his nimble fingers reach down into his quiver and he draws an arrow. But as he draws it, the cracks in his arm begin to swell as ghostly energy is going to wrap his arm as he raises this arrow. And Connie, I would like to try and use my bow to shoot ghosts at the demon holding the gourd.
By Wuxing, yes. As you notch this arrow and start to draw it, and you draw a bead on Bai Guting. The cracks in your arm light up, and you also feel a presence with you. Ija. This is Ija with you, guiding your hand, but this is also you. In this moment, you are united with the ghosts that haunt you. You can feel their whispers, feel their presence, the grief and the love digging into your soul in equal measure. And I just want to give you a situational +1 forward to this roll. So, why don't you unleash violence for me here?
Okay. Sentinel against the ending. Resourceful criminal. The birdsong bow. Deadeye. Untethered existence. Messages from the beyond, and with Ija's help, farm boy.
That's a 7?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm just going to invoke Broken 5, so that's a +2.
Great. And then the one forward, potentially. Yes? Yes, the one forward.
Yes, if you didn't already use it, then yeah, we can add
Yeah.
it here, so that's a +3. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, +3. Oh, my dice are saying yes today. Isn't that nice?
Let's go!
It's a 9 total, but still, that's great.
Okay, not bad. On a 7 to 9, you exchange blows. So I think you shoot the ghosts at Bai Guting. What does it look like?
The arrow clatters against the side of the bow, and Zainan's thumb pulls it across his body, and as he does, just wisps like mist, but they're not mist. They are just a gentle hand that you see appear as his hand draws back, and Ija, not as tall as Zainan, stands in him, next to him, with him, as their hand also draws the bowstring back, and as his arm extends, their arm extends, and 2 people wearing flat-brimmed caps draw the arrow back, and Zainan smiles. He can feel his emo with him. Is him. And he takes a deep, steadied breath and releases the arrow, and with it goes this wisp of white, ghostly hair, a black, flat-brimmed hat, and it travels with the arrow.
Where does it hit Bai Guting?
On their arm.
Yep. The arm that's holding the sword that currently is unwrapping itself from the gourd. And as they hold that arm forward and try to catch the gourd, that's when the arrow comes in. So these demons, interestingly, are still gods. They're not as powerful as Triziang, certainly not. But it will be impossible for all of you, and you've already known this as cultivators, as mortals, to kill these demons, kill these gods. You can perhaps subdue them, you can stagger them, yes, but you can never truly depose of them. And this is the closest you come, I think, to completely knocking a demon in her blind side. The arrow seems to travel through her arm in a ghostly whistle, and as it does, her arm shakes and she lets go of her sword. She drops it, and as the sword comes down, so does the gourd. It falls, and it hits the courtyard, like 12 boo underneath all of you, and it bounces, and it rolls, and it comes to a stop underneath the same peach tree that Yinghe had been knocked against what feels like lifetimes ago. And that causes every demon, Shijiang included, to whistle their eyes over to the gourd and fixate their attention right there. As Bai Guting lets out a you in your direction, Zainan.
Nova! And Zainan's eyes slide away from the demon towards the gourd underneath the tree.
Excellent. And now, speaking of which, we pan over to Lumira.
Lumira's eyes watch the gourd skitter. And I'm still located up on a roof, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump.
Okay.
Jump down and run towards the gourd and
grab it.
It's going to be like it's gonna be like Endgame when everyone was fighting with the gauntlet on the battlefield and was trying to keep it from Thanos. That's what's happening right now. Lumira will jump off the roof and run over toward the gourd to grab it and run.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to tempt fate here, my love. So what tags would you like to invoke?
Now I'm gonna invoke our crew tag, if that's okay, everyone. I'm gonna invoke Fuck the Plan.
Fuck the plan!
Fuck the plan.
I don't know how that happened.
I'm also I'm going to invoke forbidden knowledge,
Okay.
control of time,
Okay.
threading the journey,
Mm-hmm.
shielded by time.
Mm-hmm.
I will invoke fatigued and doesn't understand its power, so +3.
For net 3. Okay. I'm going to invoke the battered tag because you're like just physically
Okay.
hopping off of a building. So that's a net +1.
1.
Let's go. Oh no.
Oh no, why are you laughing? I don't like that. I don't like that you're laughing.
What'd you get? What'd you get, Sam?
It was a +1, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a 6.
Oh my god, okay, we haven't had a 6 on Tempt Fate yet. I need to read this out. On a 6-, Fate laughs in your face. The GM will describe how your plan spectacularly implodes. Lumira,
You did say fuck the plan.
I did say fuck the plan.
roll me a d8.
Six.
Okay, so as you hop off of the roof, as soon as you land on the ground, it's going pretty good. You're kind of tumbling forward to keep the momentum going. You see the gourd, it's right there. You're reaching your hands out, and then you hear a noise like someone beating the skin of the assembly drum, but it's a lot more metallic. As we see up on the roof you just leapt down from, Shriziang slams the hammer into the air, and even though there's nothing there, it seems to make contact with something. And there is a bright vibration of noise and sound and sensation and heat, as though she were slamming that hammer down onto a blade in the midst of being forged on her anvil. And then lacing into existence, for the hammer of creation has just made it in this moment, is a gleaming bronze meteor hammer, which is basically two pummeling objects connected by a thread of iron. It boomerangs forward and it wraps itself around your feet, tying you up, and you smash onto the ground inches away from the floor.
Fuck.
And you swear you hear something or someone laughing very far and also very close from here, but perhaps that was just a hallucination of delusion here as you smash onto the ground.
I think once she hits the ground, it knocks the wind out of her, but just with the last inch of breath, Seer, as she hits the ground.
And now it's time for our allies and enemies to act. Up on the roof, Yinghe's entire focus is on keeping Tang Tang trapped in this shadow mire, basically. These ribbons of pure shade. As Tang Tang thrashes, we see them transform between forms. We see them oscillate up into the size of a massive panda, and then back down into like a small pit viper trying to escape, and then up to like a golden snub-nosed monkey trying to use its dexterity to clamber out, and then a rhinoceros. We're seeing like them oscillate between all these different animal images of themselves, but none are strong enough to escape this mire, this shadow. And then, Seir, as you surface up onto the roof, right after Shriziang had smashed her hammer to create the meteor hammer, she looks up, she cocks her axe back, and she throws it in Yinghe's direction. And we see the axe, like a woodcutter's axe, whirl through the air, and without Yinghe even realizing it, violence flies up, wraps her fingers around its hilt, comes up, and blocks the axe. It does, however, throw Yinghe off the roof, though her life has been saved, and the shadows immediately vanish, and Tang Tang ends up in the form of a swooping crane that flaps its wings up and dives toward Naeem, as Yinghe tumbles off the roof and lands onto their body in the courtyard, not too far away from Lumira. Seir, you have a moment to react here if you would like.
Oh, fuck yeah. Seir can hear Lumira's call, even if she whispered it. And he snaps his head, and at the same time, in bullet time, watches Yinghe falling onto the courtyard and Sayer just leaps onto the ground. And if I can, Connie, I would like to land close to Lumira and Yinka and maybe try to I don't mind if my tail gets hurt from this, but like soften the blow for Yinka as I like land on all fours right next to the both of them.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of these rolls. Tempt fate for me.
Fuck.
I think it's very thematic. That boss fight part 2, we're tempted fate.
Go, Seer. Go, my boy.
Fuck. All right, I am invoking Yinghe. I'm invoking How to Hunt, Bulwark, Seeing the Omens, Weave Omens. I won't invoke the others because they're not relevant.
Sounds
That's
good.
5.
I'm gonna invoke Bleeding. So that's a +2.
+2. Okay, that's an 8 total. Seeing the 4
mixed
and the
success.
2 on the die
Yeah.
was... Seeing the 4 and the 2 was really scary. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
6. Wait, no,
We have a
+2. Oh,
Yeah, +2, yay! You
yeah.
catch Yinghe right before they hit the ground, and you take the blow for them, basically, as you crash into the earth. So I'm gonna need you to take Battered 2. You're currently at Battered 2, so that would go up to 4. You can burn tags to decrease it if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll burn Yinghe because I'm already here.
Okay, so
and
just
I will
one.
burn.
Oh,
Yeah, and I will burn. Oh, just can I burn another one?
you can. You absolutely can. Yeah. Go for it.
I'll burn Hungry Form.
Okay, so you take a net 0 of tears, but you do kind of have to burn those tags, and you kind of crack onto the ground. There's a plume of dust that comes up, obscuring both of your forms. And then you kind of feel like Yinghe underneath you kind of like thrashing a little bit, and Sayer, there's something wrong. And you hear Yinghe's voice seconds before violence sinks into your side. Go, what? No, I don't want to... And violence comes forward like a viper striking and right into your torso. And you feel something wrong about the blade as it bites into you. It's vibrating, emanating a kind of corruption. And we all see as the dust clears that the blade is smoking. No, it's radiating mist. And as the axe destruction flies back into Shuijiang's hand, we see the gleaming side of it also emanating mist. And Shuijiang kind of cocks her head to the side with a wry and invigorated smile.
All of you can try to play the part of loyal knight, play the part of shield, of bulwark, but this is what you all are deep inside. This is what I am. This is what the demons are. This is what the gods are. This is what cultivators are. Anyone who wields a blade, anyone who has the potential to wield a blade, we are all just cruel and violent creatures at the end of the day.
And all of you, yet, despite her words, see that current of rage, of desperation underneath her face. Something about seeing how all of you are working together seamlessly to protect Xiaocheng, to go after the River Gourd, is just pissing her off. Because it contradicts what she's saying about how people at their core truly are.
So if I can't make you see it through words, I will teach the lesson through a carving of blood.
And violence vibrates again in Yinghe's hand and comes back. Do you try to defend yourself against this blow again?
I can't hurt Yinghe
Oh.
because that's what
Okay.
it would take. I can't do that.
Then it cuts into you once more as Yinghe kind of disentangles themselves from you. Similar to Xiaocheng, they're being kind of controlled, puppeted by the sentient Crescent Blade. I need you to advance bleeding by 2 tiers. 1 for each strike.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay, now you're up to bleeding 5, I think. Is that so?
Oh, so is it bleeding or battered? My God. I
Bleeding,
took
not
the wrong
battered.
thing.
Bleeding.
Okay, bleeding 5.
Bleeding 5, that's not good. You are covered in your own blood from your back, from gashes, and now from your own crescent blade. And you feel patience still in your hand, despite you climbing with it, despite you using your monstrous form, vibrate as Yinghe's violence comes up to come down for a 3rd time, perhaps at a semi-fatal time, and then your hand flies up, imbued by patience, and the 2 twins clash in midair. As your side of the Crescent Blade protects you in this moment. They hook onto each other like talons. Seer, please, help, fight back. And you see in the gleaming of your interconnected blades a flash of light, and then that black-furred visage once more.
Boy, you need my help. You need my help.
Fuck. And he looks up at Yigha as he mutters helplessly, the voice returning back to Sayer, the monstrousness pattering out. If I strike, I'll hurt you. I can't control it. I can't control this.
You
And he
might
looks.
hurt them if you lash out, but your friends will die if you don't use me.
And the truth of that resonates. It's as true as an omen, and every omen has always come true.
Who are you? As Sayer relents, his shoulders drop. The monstrosity subsides for a moment as a helpless boy looks at the form within the blade.
And the form looks at you, and you look at the form, and perhaps for the first time truly in your life, you look at it straight in the eyes. You see your own eyes. Eyes that are yours, eyes that are this creature's, eyes that are somewhere in between, bright, piercing blue. And this creature, this entity says,
You are my son.
we
Our doom.
and poof! Sayer, you feel a surge of power. Unlike any you have felt before, what Aurignus had imbued you with is but a flickering candle burst of flame compared to the conflagration that now consumes you. Poof! And we see the bestial side of you intensify. The tusks grow larger, you increase another size. Tell me what other part of you monstrifies.
His entire being, Sayer turns into a shrine guardian, a tiger of black and white fur. All the fur bursts out of his skin, the billowing tail cut down, damaged from before, billows into existence, fuller and more powerful than before. The fangs protrude out of him, and as his face transforms, it's no longer the face of Sayer, it's the face of a tiger. Its snarling snout growling at the revelation that's just become, and his antlers grow. They arc upward like a crown that he has now accepted, and he is now on all fours, paws and his hind legs billow out as he steps forward, monstrous but beautiful. But controlled, tempered.
Exactly. Controlled. Though you appear more monstrous than you ever have, you are in the driver's seat. You're in complete control in this moment as you embrace the name, as you acknowledge the visage in that crescent blade, and you rise to the occasion. In the exact moment that Shijiang wants you to succumb, you rise. And now, my friends, we're gonna go back up to the top of the turn order. We are going to leap into action once more. Sayer, did you have something you wanted to do?
No, I'm just acting. Don't worry about it.
You were so,
I saw you.
so in it.
I saw
Yeah.
you, Val.
Excellent. So, let's start with Zynon. Tell me what tags you're invoking.
Sentinel against the ending, survivalist, resourceful criminal, Deadeye, and untethered existence.
Okay, that's how many? That's like
5.
5? Okay. What about Sayer? How many tags are you invoking?
Well, Connie, with that, well, actually, no, I'll do that afterwards. For now, I will invoke Powerful Against Gods, Monstrous Countenance, a Devourer's Edge, and a Bulwark.
Okay, roll for it. And Lumira, we are diving right back into the action at the top of the round. What tags would you like to invoke?
I'm going to invoke control of time, threading the journey, creating liminals, shielded by time, and I also have 2 new special tags
Ooh.
that I would love to invoke. Fast travel as well as deceleration.
Oh, cool. So how many tags is that?
That is
6, right?
6, yeah.
Okay, so why don't you all make your rolls? Let's start with Zidon. What did you get?
12 total.
Oh, nice, a 12. What about you, Sayer?
I have a +4 total right now, so I'll roll now. That's a 10. Love that.
A 10. Okay, what about Lumira?
12.
Okay, so Lumira and Zidon are tied. I'll let you two decide who goes first.
Go first, Zai.
Please get up. Oh, okay. I was gonna tell you, please get up.
Please get up.
get up.
Lovely. We can go to Zai first.
That's what I'm begging to y'all. Stand up!
Stand on your feet, soldiers. On your feet. Zidon, before you go, upon seeing Sayer's transformation, Shijiang lets out a and holds up a hammer as Xiaocheng rushes forward with a Feng and intercepts the blow, but isn't looking at the courtier, is looking at Nova, specifically Sayer, Lumira, and then up at you again, Zidon.
I was trying to do you a favor, cultivator, by taking your life, severing you from this world of suffering created by the violence and cruelty innate to all of us. So much easier if you just give in to the mist. Can't you see? I'm doing this to free all of you.
You think you're so righteous. These weapons aren't here to hurt others. They're here to protect. To stop you. That's why I'm up. You can keep hitting me all you want. That's what shields are for.
Shields. No, you're nothing but a blade. Righteous, don't make me laugh. I'm right. Not righteous, I'm just correct. I have seen all the depravity on the mortal realm reflected in the political machinations of the gods up here and the conniving, scheming demons of the underworld. We are cruel. You're all cruel. Deep down, you don't want to admit it, but you're all like me.
I think maybe one too many people have been cruel to you. But the only answer isn't to strike. You can't hit those problems with a weapon.
Don't you dare look at me with pity. Don't you dare!
And she lifts both weapons up into the sky and slams it down onto the roof tiles. And explosions of light ribbon across the courtyard toward you, Zidon. Right before it hits you, what would you like to do?
Zidon is really feeling himself. And I think, though he is concussed and there's like an odd heat beginning to emanate from the side of his head that he's not placed yet. He thought it was just blood, but it's more than that. There's something going on there that he's going to figure out later. But he knows he's right. I know that the Forge Master thinks that she's right, but Zidon in his heart and soul knows you cannot shoot your problems. He learned that from Azima. And so instead of fighting her, this wave of light comes at Zidon, and he is just going to do the same thing he did not an hour ago and trust in her will and be who he is that this place has shown him. And I am just going to use Untethered Existence, Grease Long Shadow, and Messages from the Beyond to pass through the attack entirely.
Oh, okay, that's gonna be channel your power.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just give it to you. Roll with
That
a
was
+3.
so much fucking cooler than the idea I had in my head. Go with that.
Now I want to know your idea, Sam.
My idea was going to be decelerating. The tiles.
Oh, right,
that
the
were,
mirror coming out. Yeah. Oh, but that's so cool. I want to see what
that's-
Zynon gets. Yeah.
Zynon's is so much cooler.
Both are really cool.
At an 8, I think he intends to literally like ghost drift towards Ta to prove his point.
At an 8, would you like the effect to be limited or volatile?
Come on, Connie. Let's
Why
go.
did I even give? Why did I even write this choice in?
Why do you
Yeah,
ask?
sometimes limited makes
You
sense.
know
One
us.
every time.
Sometimes limited makes sense. Okay. Yes.
But we love
so
drama.
the two pillars of light pummel into you, boosh, and in that moment you turn ghostly. It's not that you pass through them so much as they pass through you, equivalent on either end. You are a ghost, and the ghost is you. The divine blast phases through your body, and you start to walk forward across the roof tiles toward Shrijiang on the opposite side of the courtyard. And in this moment, I'm gonna give it to you. You can walk across air if you would like.
I think as Zynon steps forward, he has never done this. This is a level of trust that he, I think, maybe can only experience beginning with being concussed. But he steps forward, and as he does, he's walking down the long road to the Lodestar Steading. That soft dirt road that maybe occasionally has too many rocks in it, but he's still walking, and there's grass in the mist as he steps forward. And just as walking through the valley, he's home.
I love that. If I may add on to that, Zynon.
Please.
Take one step and you're back in Haruta Valley. You see that dirt path, you see the grasses, you see the crickets hopping from blade to blade, and you see the fireflies flittering next to you. And then you step forward again and you see pink platforms blooming open like cherry petals underneath your feet. And you step forward again and you see Artemis's office unfolding, those dark wood slats. And then you step forward and you're on the opposite side facing Shrijiang, who is panting a little in exertion and raises both weapons, looking down at you with such cracked open fury, like she is a geode that has sprang open to release all of the vulnerability, the glimmering gemstones, the hatred, the intimacy, and the softness, the weakness inside as well. You stop looking at me like that!
The same eyes that looked at King Moss Wu look at her. Luhua deserves better.
And something in Shrijiang's face snaps when you say that. Here's the volatile. I'm gonna have it hit you like this. She lifts the axe this time and slams it into you wordlessly, and it half passes through you, and then your form glitches while it's still halfway inside you, right before it cuts out. So you're back into being a man, a mortal. You stutter back into reality as you feel like a deep, sharp nick in the side of your torso and your kidney, right underneath your lungs. So I'm gonna need you to take... Oh, God. Oh,
Do
you're
it,
not
Connie.
doing well.
Do it, Connie.
I was gonna say broken 3. You're at broken 5.
I will
So
burn
you're-
tags.
Okay.
You're good.
Which tags
You're
would
good.
you like to burn?
I mean, given what he's doing, I think it's got to be Messages from the Beyond again,
Uh-huh.
Grief's Long Shadow, and Farm Boy.
Okay, so you stay at broken 5. Good, because you can't go to broken 6 because you're dead or you might as well be.
Correct.
Right, but there's like a kind of moment, and I think some blood spurts from between your lips and dribbles down your chin and starts to stain the top of your shirt.
Mhm.
But Shrijiang is completely incensed, completely infuriated, looking down at you. And you've hit on that weakness. You've hit on, that's right, Zynon, that denial that Shrijiang is hiding from. She says everyone else is in denial, but she herself is the one who is the most in denial. She can't let go of her philosophy because she can't be wrong. Because that would mean admitting that she's done bad things, terrible things, with no true excuse or justification for them whatsoever. So for her, she is, in a lot of ways, fighting for her life. That's why it's so hard for her to let go of her cruelty and her hatred. And then there's a thump as Shalong jumps down from the roof and lands in the courtyard, as Tang Tang swoops toward Naeem, still on the roof, engaged in that combat, and Xiao Cheng says, "Take your eyes off me one more time, Forge Master, and you will suffer for it!" And they surge forward again to engage Shuijiang. So we pan back down to the courtyard now to find Lumira, as Shalong lands with a thud and starts to reach for the gourd.
Lumira will do everything within her power to scramble towards the gourd. I think in her midst of trying to scramble as fast as she can, even though her feet are kind of tied together, I think she's like scrambling towards the gourd while trying to also shake the hammers that's wrapped around you. Off at the same time. But at the same time, she throws up a middle finger towards the demon and is decelerating him at the same time to slow him down so she can actually grab it and then fast travel her ass out of there. So she's
channel your power, my sweet one. Do it. Invoke your tags. I love that. Middle fingers up.
Middle fingers up. Fuck you. So forbidden knowledge, control of time, threading the journey, creating liminals, shielded by time, fast travel, deceleration. I will invoke fatigued. I will invoke doesn't understand this power. And I will also invoke bloodied one.
Okay, yeah, so that's a +4. I'm also going to invoke Marked for Death too, so that's a +2.
Gotcha. Boxcars, biatch!
Lumira!
The She-Herd's coming in!
Biatch!
Let's go!
Yes! It works. The effect is exactly as intended. You throw that middle finger up, and right before Shalong's huge hand makes contact with the gourd, he freezes. Just like Xiao Cheng, suspended in a liminal, we see clockwork gears flashing in soapy translucent in front of his face. And tell me how you grab that gourd.
Lumira flips up the middle finger as she decelerates him, and as they stop, Lumira just like, licks her middle finger and grabs the gourd. And I think it's just as quickly as a clock-eared liminal appears around her, it disappears and she's on the opposite side of the battlefield, gourd in hand.
Yeah, you're just like moving as quickly as humanly possible, ensconced in your own time magic, running across the courtyard. And you hear Xiao Cheng embroiled in a duel with Shuijiang say, "The gourd! Lumira! Over here!" And is like holding out a hand to try to re-grab it.
I pass it to them.
Okay, so you throw the gourd up into the air. So we're kind of gonna go in bullet time for a second here. You chuck the gourd up into the air, and we see Bai Guting, who, after recovering from being shot in the arm from Zainin, lets out a "I don't think so, tricky little cultivator," and shoots out not her sword because she dropped it, but her fan. She flings it in a wind-stirring motion, and out comes ghostly, pale white grasping claws that surge forward and try to grab the gourd in midair. But Xiao Cheng's eyes flash, and with a little flick of Zifeng, there's like a explosion of magic from that blade, and it throws the ghostly hands off course a little bit, but they still do make contact with the gourd and kind of knock it off course. Like inches away from Xiao Cheng's outstretched hand, the gourd is knocked just a little astray. So now we're gonna pan over to Sayer.
Connie,
Yes.
as Shuijiang is saying all of this, Sayer's stock still, violence still digging into his rib, and he feels the blood subsiding a little bit. Son of Doom. Son of Doom. And he looks up at Shuijiang and says, "Shut up. I don't care for your lectures. I already have a teacher." and she has killed gods far more terrifying than you. So why should I fear you? I would like to stop holding back.
Okay, you jump scared me with that. That's a move we've not used yet. When you channel your powers in a new, never-before-seen way, describe what you hope to achieve, and the GM will tell you the cost. Let's start there.
So I will have to roll 2d6 plus logos.
Yeah, the number of logos tags you have. Not tags, sorry.
The logos tags.
Themes you have.
Themes, so that's +2. All right.
Yes.
Let's see what happens.
Before we resolve that, what are you trying to achieve in this moment?
Sayer wants to tap into Doom fully, wholeheartedly. His bleeding heart now open to the influence of the antlered one, and reveling in that truth. And I think within that, he's going to look over to Ying, like turn around with violence still in Yinghe's hand, hold onto Yinghe and start purring. And like leaning against their forehead and basically take control of violence now that he's controlling Doom. That violence doesn't scare him, and whatever viciousness it can do, he can wield now properly.
Okay. You're trying to wield this specifically against Shijiang, I assume. Like jump up there and help Xiaocheng and fight Shijiang.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll tell you the cost.
But I need the blade first from
Yeah, you
Yinghe.
do. Yes, of course. The cost will be, depending on the roll, violence is still corrupted by the mist. You're trying to bring violence back from the brink, essentially, but the cost is going to be that it's going to sink itself into you over and over and over again as you try to embrace it with your power of your arms. Okay?
So I rolled a 6, but I have an advancement I took weeks ago called Contain the Surge. Any -6 I take to stop holding back is now a 7 to 9.
Oh my god! That's really good because a 6 result, not great. You would
Sucks.
lose control.
Terrible.
Yeah, so it would suck and completely undermine what you're trying to do in this moment. Okay, 7 to 9. On a 7 to 9, you must also replace one theme with its inverse. So for example, a mythos theme becomes a logos or vice versa.
Sayer's logos of defining event. The chosen one's shadow. I do not know who I am without Sing. Will now be replaced with its inverse, which is a mythos theme book. Bastion. I am the chosen one's brother. And I protect chosen ones.
I'm screaming! Oh my god, I love this! Okay, yes, you do pay the cost, but you also metamorphosize in more ways than one in this moment. You come into your own. You feel violence cutting into you over and over and over again, but it's somewhere beyond you, even as your mortal blood pours from your furred chest, even as you gently take this corrupted blade into your hand and hold it, control it, school it, comfort it for just a moment there, still it from the raging corrupted mist boiling within its blade, and you fold Yinghe into your chest, and their face presses against your blood, gushing against their cheek, and they blink against the rivers of crimson dribbling down their mouth, and they whisper your name against your fur. And Sayer, how do you arch upward toward the gourd, Shijiang and Xiaocheng?
I will no longer put you in danger, he whispers to Yinghe, and as he leans back away from the hold, looks up at Shuijiang, violence and patience in hand. I will do the thing that Sayers loves to do, and I will jump up a tree and hook myself onto the roof and swing upwards.
Yes, it happens. You jump up, you hook. Is it patience or violence that you hook?
Patience, so that violence is out for it within the form that he's taking.
I love it. You jump up, you hook patience into the branch, you swing, and violence comes down. Where are you trying to point violence?
How close to the Forge Master can I be?
You can get very close because you have stopped holding back. You can basically get completely within melee.
I'm going to hook onto their foot then.
Okay. Okay. The crescent blade's gonna come down to their foot.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm just gonna pin them there.
Okay, sounds good. The blade wicks through the air, cuts down, and slashes into the Forge Master's foot. The blade doesn't break. Her foot doesn't break either, but you slip it in, I think, to her very soul itself, and you kind of form a curved trap, basically preventing her ankle from getting out of it unless she turns to fully pivot in your direction. She lets out a gah as she stops there. The gourd surges through the air, and we leave bullet time in this moment. And thanks to all of your combined efforts, Xiao Cheng holds out their hand, and the gourd falls into it. And we see Shuixiang's eyes travel to the gourd. We see all of the demon's eyes travel to the gourd. And in that moment, Xiao Cheng looks at Shuixiang and realizes what she wants to do with it. No, you can't have this. You can't have the mist. You can't have Misty. You were going to eat it, weren't you? That's what you were planning, wasn't it? I was to become one with it. And she strains against your blade, Sayur, but it's planted there. She swipes out and misses the gourd by inches. I was to make my will the will of the Sister Realms. My philosophy would become the truth. My magic would become the magic. It's not too late for me to make this world into my image. Another strain, another slash, another miss. As Xiao Cheng looks at Shuixiang, looks at you, Sayur, looks at you, Lumira, looks at you, Zainin, and knows what they must do. I can't let you corrupt Misty. I can't let anyone have the power to corrupt Misty. This gourd lets us talk to her, talk to the mist, commune with it, be close to it, but it also lets us trap it. And realization colors across Xiao Cheng's face. They lift the gourd up into the sky.
Oh.
Shuixiang says, No, what were you? And Xiao Cheng slams the gourd onto the ground and holds out Zifeng at the last moment to cause the gourd to slip across the edge of the blade and shatter. And we're gonna end the session there.
Fuck.
No, what? No. Chat, get into it right now. We are calling a sanction. This is not how Connie gets to end this right now. I know y'all are with me.
Vetoed.
Oh my god.
Claim denied. Vetoed.
Connie is
Fee
always denying our
raised.
claims.
Premiums
You're worse than
raised.
the government.
Vetoed. I have been your game master and creative producer, Connie Chong. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me across the internet at by Connie Chong, BYCONNIECHANG. I'm gonna pass things over to Val.
Hello everybody, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian and also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure I just set you on. And tonight I had the distinct pleasure of playing Sayur, Son of Doom, who uses he, they pronouns. I'm gonna pass it over to Pop Up.
Hi, I'm Kai. I play Zainin, who currently has almost 20 negative status tags against him.
Please!
You can find me everywhere as Estella Vimladris, and you can find me back here committing more crimes as Mr. Zanin-ish. As we wrap up this arc, I'm about to turn over to Sam.
Hey everyone, I'm Sam Star. I played Lumira. You can find me across internets at Lust for Life X. So, are you sure that we can't do like a coup last minute
Against me?
Yeah, to just be like, no, that's not like.
You know, I'm afraid that I have spies everywhere. So even if you did try to foment a coup against me, my spies would tell me. I would shut it down. My spy is C. Thomas. That's right.
It's true.
God
They're
damn
in your
it,
walls.
see. The one
They're
we
eating your
trust the
copper.
most is the one we can't. All right.
Trust in
Take
their
it away,
will.
boss. Send us
It's
home.
a me.
There will.
The bows. So thank you all so much for tuning into Arc 2 Stream 14. This means we only have 2 more streams because it's 16 streams. That's it. That's the arc. 2 more streams until we wrap up arc 2. So if you've been enjoying the series so far, make sure you get in the comments of the YouTube VOD, in the chat of the Twitch, in comments of whatever TikToks and YouTube shorts I put out. Make tweets, make posts about it. Tell your friends. Word of mouth, especially if you can't support us on Patreon. Word of mouth is huge. Be annoying about it. Be the translator ambassadors I know you all are. It truly, really helps us continue to create the kinds of stories that we love to share with you in a healthy and sustainable way, because that's what allows us to keep making this art, is you talking about it in positive ways. All that said, we are taking a quick break next week, so no Chaos stream next week, to record an extra special secret project. A wink, a wink.
You've been posting about it on TikTok. How secret is?
I'm soft launching it on TikTok, and Steve was like, Connie, what the hell? Why are you we didn't talk about this. I was like, I don't know, I'm soft launching it on TikTok. Maybe some Godgular in studio stuff, who knows? Right, but we're recording that next week. But Chaos will return on May 11th. That is Saturday, May 11th. Put that in your calendars. Saturday, May 11th. What was that? I don't know. I'm not gonna try that ever again. Don't clip that. Right here, 8 p.m.
Clip
US
it.
Eastern time. Don't do it. Twitch and YouTube at Transplaner RPG, and by Connie Chung on TikTok. So to support us otherwise, you go to our Patreon. That's the best way to support us. You can even join as a free member. You'll still get some stuff as a free member, but it's as low as $3 a month. That's like $36. That's not right. It's like $36 a year, right? Okay, I'm wrapping it up. So he's giving me the wrap it up sign. So Patreon is the best way to support us, and we hope you're ready, Transplanners. So thank you so much for hanging with us tonight. Make sure you stick around for the raid. Use the raid message in chat, and Spisho.
You were right, Connie. Your math was right.
Thank you.